another episode of the Soothing Semantics podcast. I am your host, Rafi Pinsky. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, leave your comments. Of course, for all of your real estate needs, follow me at Rafi the Realtor on Instagram. Make sure to check out the link in bio where you can sign up to my weekly newsletter to stay in the know of everything South Florida. Without further ado, we have the phylactery man himself, the Jewish guy that's really becoming very well known, not only across South Florida, but you've traveled to Israel. You're probably going to end up going to tens of countries, if not hundreds, over the next couple of years, God willing. And you have wrapped tefillin on easily some of the most famous Jews on the planet. Hopefully Larry David soon. That'll be the 2025 plan.
God willing.
And you're doing amazing things. You're bringing Jews closer to Judaism. You're bringing the family closer together. You were just followed by Ivanka Trump on which platform, on X?
Yes.
Yeah, you were followed by the daughter of future president Donald Trump on Twitter, which is pretty insane. Yossi Farro, thank you for joining me.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. So, a couple of things to think about. What were you doing prior to all this tefillin craze? What was your life like beforehand? Tell me about your humble, non-famous life before.
Okay. Basically, I grew up in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. Crown Heights section of Brooklyn. I'm right now 20 years old. So I lived there till I was around 15. 15, I went to yeshiva in Israel for 2 years in Tzfat. And then I went to yeshiva in Los Angeles for 2 years. And over there is where I got started with the so-called social media tefillin rapping.
Oh, okay. And who did something inspire you? Inspire you to do it, or you just started rapping tefillin and you came across somebody well known what sparked the desire to become kind of a notable tefillin rapper? You're kind of the first one to do it.
So I've been rapping tefillin with people my whole life since I'm 13 years old. But the first time I did so in prominent was 2 years ago, just shy of my 19th birthday. I was walking on the street in Los Angeles, and I saw they were filming a TV show, and I decided I'll start asking people over there if they're Jewish. Started asking a bunch of people. Wasn't having too much luck. Some people were Jewish. They weren't interested. Finally, I'm walking back, and I see a dude in an alleyway, and I go, "Excuse me, sir, are you Jewish?" He says, "Yes, I am." I'm like, "Would you like to rap tefillin?" "Yeah, let's do it." So we did tefillin together, took a picture, and the guy, when he's walking away, asked me, "Have you ever heard of Lil Dicky?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think I heard of the name. To be honest, I haven't really heard of it, but I just told him I think I've heard of it."
Right.
And he's like, "That's me." I'm like, "Oh, cool, nice." I walked away, and then I Googled the name, realized he was like sort of like famous. And whatever we did, I posted a picture, whatever, like on my WhatsApp status. I guess it got shared. Someone shared it to X, and it went viral. So I decided I'll open up like a social media. I opened up an Instagram and a Twitter and a LinkedIn and shared it, and it got tens of thousands of views. Then like a couple days later, I was walking on Melrose in LA, and I saw this dude asking me, "Jewish? Yeah. Do you want to do tefillin?" "Yeah." We did tefillin, and then took a picture with him. When I was walking away, someone's like, "Was that James Franco you were speaking to?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think of his name." I'm like, "Is he famous?" They're like, "Yeah, sort of, whatever." Then I Googled him, realized he's like sort of like famous actor, and shared that picture. It also went famous.
Yeah.
Shared that picture, also went sort of viral. And then I met Jeremy Piven, the Nunk Boys, Aiden Ross, etc., and it just snowballed from there.
This wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it was just about 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's amazing, right?
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, and now it's just becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. So
yeah.
You're talking to BLP Kosher.
Good friend of mine, yes.
Right? And you've done Dave Grutman.
Yes.
There's so
multiple
many.
Times.
Right? Adam Sosnick. Many more.
Michael Rapport.
Right, and then Rudy, who I imagine he puts on tefillin anyhow, but that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we rapped with Rudy a bunch of times.
So what do you feel you're doing to impact Jewish togetherness?
I feel like through sharing the mitzvah of tefillin, it unites people, makes people inspired to be proud Jews. When they see a notable figure like, I don't know, let's say Michael Rappaport, a Dave Portnoy, David Grutman, them doing tefillin, it's like, hey, if he could do it, I could do it. They're proud Jews, I should be proud Jews. And it's just a ripple effect.
Right. And do you feel like sometimes the ones that aren't so proud, like the ones in Hollywood that they're Jews but aren't so connected or aren't so outspoken, do you feel that the tefillin itself really impacts their pride?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, funny enough, are you familiar with Benny Blanco?
I know. I mean, I've heard of him for sure. Yeah.
So my friend did the film with him and said, we're praying for Israel, whatever. Sent me the video. I shared on Instagram. I got like 1 million views. And it's like the only video of him saying anything to do with Israel. There's no like public statement of him from Israel. Mm-hmm. But that clip of him doing tefillin like went viral and like, yeah, it was cool.
Wow, it's crazy. So what are your plans now? Say your resolution for 2025. Are you looking to do other things other than tefillin? That could be business ventures. That could be mitzvot. It could be whether religious or non-religious. What are some things that you're open to discussing that you have planned to?
I've been considering starting a media company about business and Judaism.
So what would that look like? What would that entail?
Like a podcast, newsletter, Twitter account, Instagram, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm. Well, you definitely have the names.
Yeah, I know some cool
Jewish
people.
World, so it's definitely something you can do.
Baruch Hashem.
Yeah, that's great, dude. So what do you think it is? It's pretty amazing that you, just for putting on tefillin, you get taken on a private jet.
No, it was actually one of my followers reached out and said, hey, are you going to the Kinnis? Are you familiar with the Kinnis?
Yeah.
Kinnis is the International Conference of Chabad Rabbis. It's like, are you going? I'm like, no, I don't have any plans to go. And they're like, oh, my friend's taking a private jet from Miami to New York. Would you be interested in going? I'm like, if you got a private jet, maybe I'll hop aboard. So we took the jet in the morning, flew into Jersey, got there. We had a Suburban waiting for us. Took us straight to the Kinnis. When we finished, the car took us straight back to the jet, right back to Miami. 12 hours in and out. But yeah, it was a really cool experience. It's actually a kosher private jet. Wow. So they were making us eggs in the morning, and like in the afternoon they were making us tacos and steaks, and it was awesome. It was a cool experience. I hope to go jetting more often.
Was that the first time?
That was actually my first time on a private jet. God willing, not my last.
I have still not been on one. I would love to do that.
It's really cool. It's everything it lived up to. It was also like a nice size, like 3-compartment jet.
You feel like $1 million.
Yeah.
You feel like you're the man.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Right?
It's like a nice $80 million plane. It wasn't like one of those small jets.
It was a big jet.
Yeah.
Without telling me the person's name, like, can you tell me what the person does?
He owned one of the largest poker websites in the world. Sold it for many billions of dollars.
Billions?
Yes.
Damn. I take it he's part of the tribe?
Of course, yes.
Damn, dude. Wow, okay. So does he, I take it that's his plane?
Yeah, he owns the plane.
He owns the plane. Holy crap. Now that, I mean, you're becoming famous for something very interesting. You're really the only guy that's doing this, right?
I think so.
It does seem like other Chabad, I've seen other people doing it, so it seems like some people are trying to hop on the trend. But you're kind of the Nachshon. You're like the pioneer of this.
I guess you could say that.
Yeah. I mean, as far as I know.
As far as I know, too.
You're the face of it. You are the Bounty or the Kleenex of your
tefillin?
industry.
Yeah.
Like, when people think of putting on tefillin on famous people, I would call it you got pharaohed.
Yeah, I never heard that term, but I guess that's the first.
Yeah, we're coining it here.
I guess so.
You got pharaohed.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah, someone mentioned to me the other day. They're like, "There's no one more synonymous with one mitzvah than you are with tefillin."
100%. Yeah,
it's awesome.
You are that person. So now that you're becoming more and more popular, do you enjoy the popularity? Do you like? This is a very straightforward question.
Do I enjoy it? Yeah, I guess you could say so. Like, it's cool.
Do you like feeling like a famous person? How does it feel?
I don't know if you could consider me famous, but like, yeah, when I walk on the street, people ask for pictures sometimes here and there.
Though. You are. You're not world famous. You're not you're not Michael Jordan in terms of your level of notoriety, but
yeah,
in the Jewish world.
Yeah, like I went to a concert on Thursday. Like probably 7-8 people. Like people asked me to take pictures with their children.
At a concert?
Yeah, was at the Heat game last week. People asked to take pictures. Interesting.
Jewish Heritage, no?
Yeah, Jewish Heritage Night. So yeah, it's cool. No, it's interesting. Like people are like, the crazy thing is when like people are like starstruck to see you. Like I'm like this little kid. Like I'm a nobody. Like who are you starstruck to see? Like it's interesting. Yeah. I wouldn't consider myself famous. Do a few people know me? Yeah,
because it's also so new, and I think you're a humble dude. You're a happy-go-lucky guy.
I guess you could say that.
So
I don't know.
I think it's actually really special when you meet people that do have a level of notoriety and they're very nice and chill about it, and you don't even acknowledge your own notoriety, right?
Like yourself?
Well, what I'm saying is you'll walk down the street, and to you, you're just an everyday average Joe walking down the street.
I think
right?
I am.
Right. And in many, you're a human that uses the bathroom and eats breakfast, lunch, and dinner like everybody else, but people know you. You have a social media presence, right? So it's pretty cool, though, that hopefully, even if you become 10 times more known, you just walk down the street and act like it's no big deal.
100%.
And I think those kinds of people I really, really appreciate. People who, they walk into a room and don't necessarily act like people know them. They just walk in and say hi to people and chill, you know?
For sure.
Yeah, I like that kind of stuff. What do you think, now some deeper Jewish questions.
Go ahead.
Since October 7th, we've become a lot closer as a people. Doing what you're doing, becoming well known as we're mentioning. What do you advise to the Jewish people, or what do you think we could do to become even closer? Tefillin being a huge one.
Of course, rapid tefillin.
Right. You're a man of unity. So what else do you think we could?
I think just being nicer to each other, avoid conflicts, avoid fights. For women to light Shabbat candles, just do more mitzvahs, and just bring Mashiach closer till we're ultimately all 100% united.
Fair point. You have plans on getting married? What are you, like 21, right? 22?
I'm 20 right now.
20
flat.
Is marriage on the thought, or are you too young?
I don't know if I'm getting married this year, but God willing, eventually.
Is eventually? You have thoughts on when eventually is?
Possibly.
You probably got some Edelam in line.
Should I give you my first tefillin story? Far before I was on social.
Sure.
This story takes us back to the winter of 2019. No, 2018 actually. Okay, yeah. Basically, this story is when it happened in 2018 when I was 14 years old. I was walking the street with a friend. So basically on Fridays, Chabad.
Where are you walking the street? New York.
New York City. So basically on Fridays, we end school early in Chabad schools because of Shabbat, right? So the Rebbe, Lubavitcher Rebbe, encouraged Bacher and boys to go out and go do Messiah, which is like wrap tefillin. People give out Shabbat candles, just spread goodness and kindness on the streets of New York and all around the world. So I was a student in Brooklyn in yeshiva, and me and my friend, we decided we're going to start a route. It's called like a route of places we'd go every week to go do tefillin. So we walked to Wall Street because we decided that Wall Street should have a lot of Jews. So we're walking the street, we're going store to store trying to find Jews. We see a store with the mezuzah on it. Walk inside. Excuse me, sir, are you Jewish? No, I'm not. I'm like, you sure you're not Jewish? No. I'm like, I saw a mezuzah on the wall. No, I'm not Jewish. I'm like, there's a mezuzah. Yeah, mezuzah came with the store. I'm like, okay. I knew the dude was Jewish. You could tell. He had a big nose, like orange hair. You knew the guy was Jewish. You could tell from a mile away.
Yeah. That's another thing also that brings me to a great point, but I'll save it for after.
So I knew the dude was Jewish from like a mile away. So what did I do? I decided I'll come back the next week and I'll ask him again. Hopefully he'll tell me this time he's Jewish. Came back the next week. Excuse me, sir, are you Jewish? The guy goes, you were here last week.
Yeah.
I'm like, all embarrassed. Like, the guy's like, leave, please don't come back again. I'm not Jewish. I'm like this 14-year-old kid, all embarrassed, whatever.
You just knew.
But I knew that guy was Jewish. Whatever, fast forward like 3-4 months. And I'm walking down the street in Manhattan. And I meet this dude. Hey, are you Jewish? Yes. Do you put on tefillin today? He's like, actually, I put on tefillin every single day. But today, I was in a rush to work. And I did not have the chance to wrap tefillin. So I'm like, let's do it. He's like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, okay, let's go to the lounge across the street. Start walking. He's like, hey, why don't we just go to my son's store? My son has a store right over here. So we start walking. And we walk in this dude's store. And we're doing tefillin with this guy. And then after, he's like, oh, why don't you do tefillin with my son? Oh, that's your son, yeah? I'm like, oh, he actually told me he's not Jewish. The guy's face turns red, purple. The second I walked in the store, the dude already knew who I was. His face was red the whole time. And he's like, what? What did he tell you? I'm like, yeah. He's like, come back here next week. And fast forward, and literally every single week for years on end, I would go to that guy's store, do tefillin with him every week. Till today, we're in touch, and we still do tefillin together whenever I'm in New York City. He even texted me the last time I was there. He's like, yo, come by the store. Let's do tefillin.
So what was his reason for not doing it? He just didn't want to put it on, or he was really just far away from Judaism? What was it?
I don't even know.
Or he just didn't want to be called Jewish. He's like, I don't look Jewish.
I don't even know. I really don't know. But till today, I know there's Bachram, there's boys that go to him every single Friday. They do tefillin with him happily. So actually, he was dating a non-Jew for many years, like 5-6 years dating this girl. And someone that works with him, like a Hasidic Jew, went over to the Bachram that go there every week, the boys. He went to him and told them, he's like, hey, by the way, this guy is dating a non-Jew. I want to give you guys a letter to go give it to the Lubavitcher Rebbe's Ohel, the resting place of the Rebbe, and pray for him to, God willing, break up with this girl and marry a Jew. So they said, yeah, no problem. They go to the Ohel. Within weeks, the guy broke up with a girl, and weeks later, he found a Jewish girl, and now he's, thank God, dating a Jewish girl.
How old's the guy, approximately?
35-ish.
Wow. Okay.
Thank God.
That's really special.
Another great story I heard recently about dating non-Jews. This guy, a friend of mine, very successful entrepreneur. He went to dinner with a friend of his. They were there, and this guy came to dinner with a shiksa, a non-Jewish girl. And he calls the guy out to the back of the restaurant. He says, are you going to go break your chain of 3,000 years from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? You're going to break the chain for 3,000 years. Your parents, your grandparents, they all married Jews. You're going to be the first one. Your kids will not be Jewish. Are you ready to break this chain? The guy gets like all shooken up. A few days later, he broke up with his non-Jewish girlfriend. And the guy told him, he's like, I promise you, God will bless you if you break up with this non-Jewish girl. Now he's dating a billionaire's daughter. Jewish billionaire's daughter, and thank God it's going well. Wow. And I'm actually doing Tefillin with him next week. So he builds homes.
I could. You know what's funny? I don't know if I could date a billionaire's daughter. I don't know if I could do it. Like, even if I had the opportunity, I don't know if I would do it unless I was already doing very well for myself.
No, he does very well for himself.
So that it's different.
He does very well for himself.
Very well for myself, and I don't need the father-in-law's money in any way.
No, he's doing just fine.
So that's a little different. Only thing, it would just depend on her. Like, it
seems like a nice girl.
It would depend. It would be very situationally dependent. Because if she's got a crazy lavish lifestyle that I can't meet, then I'm just, because I grew up all the way on the other side of that, you know. So it would really.
You're saying a millionaire's daughter.
A millionaire's daughter, if I'm doing well, would be probably totally fine. I don't think that would be a problem. It would just be more of a question of being able to relate to the person.
No, this guy does well.
Yeah, no, if he does well, then that's fine. Now, Chabadniks, or to the non-Jews watching, people of Lubavitch from Crown Heights, if you're not familiar, do your research on Chabad or Chabad Lubavitch. Chabad. You have a very good eye, and quite frankly, so do I. Chabad guys who are wrapping tefillin, wrapping phylacteries up people. You have a very good eye for spotting Jews.
Of course.
Now, that's a very funny thing to say, because there's a lot of Jews that don't like being stereotyped. There are even Jews that they don't see that as a compliment. When you tell them you look Jewish and they're not particularly showing signs of Judaism, they take that as an insult, right? They go, are you because of all the old Jewish stereotypes from Europe, right? Long nose, maybe thick curly hair, just Jewish features. Some people take that as an insult. So what to you, let's have that hilarious conversation. When you see somebody that doesn't wear a kippah, that's not wearing a black suit and a white shirt, what gives away a Jewish look to you?
What gives away a Jewish look? That's a good question.
You gotta answer that.
I don't know. You just like, it's the vibe. Yeah, you could just tell a dude's Jewish. Like, I don't know. Like, you see the dude and you could like literally just tell. Like, he's a guy. He's a Jew. Like, you could see it. I don't know the exact demeanor.
There are definitely times where a guy is Jewish and you don't know and they pass you. It's for sure happens.
I'm sure it happens, but I tried to ask everyone that passes me.
Oh, you ask everybody?
I try to, yeah. I'll ask, on a good day, I'll ask a few hundred people in the street.
And how often are you wrong? Percentage-wise?
Pretty often. I'm saying, yeah, a bunch of people are non-Jews that I ask, and anybody that says they're non-Jewish, I say, awesome, have an amazing day.
But I'm saying, you're asking everybody, so that's different. What I'm saying is it maybe like a 10-20% chance where you think somebody's Israeli and they're really Cuban?
Yeah, it happens, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what the percentage is exactly, but I'm sure it happens.
Gotcha. But yeah, for me also, man, like when I was also very good at telling an Israeli from an Arab.
Yeah.
I was very good at that. And sometimes it's not so easy.
Well, the Arabs have those eyes. No, you know what I'm talking about?
It's just different facial features because they can look super similar. You have Israelis that look, Jewish Israelis that look very Arab, and you have some Arabs that could definitely pass as Israeli. Because it's not that different. A lot of us really look alike. You also have a lot of Arabs that are much lighter. Like you have Arabs that look like Ashkenazi Jews. They really do. Some of them have like blonde hair or very light brown hair, or just very fair skin, light eyes, or they just the facial structure. Literally, you could put a kippah on that dude and send him into Brooklyn, New York. You wouldn't think anything. If he didn't open his mouth, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's like a Shmuel Goldstein. I'm like, it's really like that.
Interesting. I never knew that.
So, and yeah, especially if you go to the West Bank, it really is funny how that is. Yeah. So, you definitely could work for the Mossad in terms of well, you're better at finding Jews, I guess, than non-Jews. But
100%.
yeah. So, I hope you enjoyed. It was a very quick discussion. How long are we supposed for? Do you ever experience anti-Semitism? Have you ever been cursed out, spat on, said bad things to? You're standing wrapping tefillin with people. You're clearly Jewish. You're doing something Jewish.
So one time, really haven't, thank God, experienced that too much. But one time I was in Soho, New York. Actually, before I had social media. This was in like mid 22, and I'm doing tefillin, asking me if they're Jewish, and I see like this one retarded homeless dude, shirtless. Who knows what he had on him? Obviously, I didn't ask him. Then he's like, what the fuck? And whatever, starts going crazy at me, starts chasing me. I walked into a store, and I was literally in the middle, about to put on tefillin with someone when he started chasing me. So I'm all pissed off, like I meant to do tefillin with the person. Happened to be the person stayed where they were. I came and did tefillin with them. Right when I finished doing tefillin with them, the person came and tried attacking me again. But thank God the people I just did tefillin with saved me. And yeah, I survived. But yeah, that's the one experience, one homeless dude. But really, no, thank God, I haven't really experienced too much anti-Semitism. Baruch Hashem.
That's fantastic. Somebody who posted that you look like Sully from Monsters Inc. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I saw that. People both say I look like Post Malone.
People say you look like Post Malone. I get what they mean, but no, not really.
No, I hear where they're coming from, but like, whatever.
No, not exactly. I'm trying to think of who I know that you look like. There's no human that I can think of that reminds me of you right away. But I'm sure I'll meet somebody.
Yeah.
It's wild when that happens. Lately, in the last year, I think at least 2 times, I met somebody that reminded me of someone, and it's crazy how many similarities they had. I met a girl recently that has the same first name as my friend's wife. They have a super similar face. They have their voice is very similar. It totally throws me off.
And
it's crazy, and they're not related, but they have at least 3 huge similarities, which is very interesting. And I feel like God does that, honestly. I mean, he does everything.
Sure.
So I feel like he does that just to make life a little funnier.
I guess.
Right? Well, Yossi Farro, thank you for coming all the way from Mitzrayim. I really appreciate it.
Oh, wow, you pulled one of those.
Because you didn't think I was going to do it in the beginning of the episode, so I did it now.
Yeah, you're too funny.
Like chariot. I was literally told him that I would get him an Uber, and he was like, "No, I will bring my horses and my men." So all the Egyptians are standing outside,
of course,
waiting for their
leader,
their emperor, their leader, the pharaoh, to save them, to bring them, to build the temple of whatever. So the phylactery man himself has joined me for episode. I'm trying to think of an alliteration, like the Tefillin Titan, the phylactery phenom, the phylactery. Yeah, sure. Yossi Farro, thank you for joining me.
Shabbat
You're the
shalom.
man. Keep doing what you're doing. Really proud of you. Thank you for uniting the Yidden, uniting the Hebes. And
thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for your service in the Israeli Defense Forces. Committing genocide.
Genocide's not funny. We're just not committing. And yeah, man, it's a pleasure to have served. And I again thank you for joining.
Appreciate your service.
I appreciate you for appreciating me. Ladies and gentlemen, boys
Shabbat
and girls,
shalom.
people of all ages, Jews and non-Jews, cats and dogs.
Shabbat shalom.
We're not there yet. We're at the opposite. Shabbat just ended. Make sure to subscribe, like, share, follow Yossi Farro on all of his accounts. He's got you. Is there a social media account you don't have? You have TikTok?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he uses pretty much every platform. Some of them are more prominent. Definitely follow him on X. He is very active on Twitter, on X. He's active on the gram. Is it just at Yossi Farro? What's the handle?
At Farro Yossi on
Farro
Instagram.
Yossi. Okay, perfect. So make sure to follow him. The link will be in the description. And we are at episode 199. 200 is one episode away. We're out here. So guys, for the 3rd or 4th time, thank you again. It's a wrap. Peace.